Is everybody signed in? Probably not.
Yes.
I haven't signed in.
This is
Okay.
You are a guest.
So the roll call's being sent around. Everybody's here except for what, Jenny? Okay.
Do we have the minutes?
yes, they're in that folder.
They're in the folder.
I've got the agenda here in front of me.
You do have the, well, I think this is all in a packet, right? Right.
There you go.
That way. You need another one?
I think we're good.
I got one.
Everybody good? We also have, we need to make a motion, or need a motion to amend the agenda for tonight to add the pro tem position for chair and pro tem mayor. on our agenda.
I'll make the motion to amend the agenda to add the pro tem.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Tim and seconded by who?
I'll second it.
We're gonna have to have it by one on the committee. 'cause-
I am on the committee.
He is.
Are you,
Roger.
did you put him on?
I'm supposed to have been on the
Yeah.
committee.
On policy and procedure?
It was before him.
Prior to me.
Yeah, it was.
Roger.
Okay, and Roger, chairman.
That doesn't matter. You can do it if you like.
That's okay.
Whose seat did he fill?
I don't know.
Claude.
Claude wasn't on this committee.
Claude was not on our
He was
committee.
on,
Yeah, he's on the legislative
Legislative.
committee to replace Claude's
Right,
position,
yeah.
right.
but I
And
didn't know
you-
about this one.
You wanted to be on the salary committee, the ad hoc
The
salary
ad hoc,
committee.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I
Just-
went to that meeting for that, but
Right.
when for day one, I was put on this committee, legislative and law enforcement.
Okay,
Good.
I mean, that's what I was notified day one.
That was through Judd?
Judd's office, yes. sir.
Okay.
I mean, I understand the question completely and the misunderstanding.
Just to make sure, let one of
Let
the other,
Andy or somebody.
Andy will second. Let's, just to
Yeah, yeah. I'm
keep
good.
not having a problem right now.
I'm good.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, that has been fixed.
I'll make the motion to approve March's agenda that I don't think we did the last time.
That's
Or
correct.
January or February.
Oh, we didn't do,
No,
Well, those are
March.
those
just
are minutes.
March? Okay.
We need to, did we vote? We just didn't vote on it, did we?
You didn't vote.
Okay.
We made had a motion,
We
and
didn't
we had
vote.
a second. We did not vote. And all in favor of that motion for, aye. Motion approved.
so that was the agenda for
That was
March.
for,
March,
for
okay.
March.
Yep.
We have any public comments?
Hang on, I'm gonna do, April.
Yeah, we're going to get there. The April agenda, you mean?
Yep.
We just did the April
hasn't
agenda. We
been
just added that.
Okay. All right, sorry.
They were just kind of backwards, so not too bad. That's okay. So no public comments right now at this time. We need to fix where we had, we made motions and seconded the minutes of January and February, but we never did vote.
And you already have who made the motion second, right?
We
Yes.
do.
Okay, so
Commissioner Morris made the motion and it was seconded by Commissioner Hirschman.
On January's
January, February.
and both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was one motion.
So we need to go ahead and vote for that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. All approved. Now we need to approve the March minutes. I've already looked over that.
They in this pack.
March minutes are in this package, yes.
I don't know it.
I don't have.
Are they not?
I've got them here. I don't know who made that packet. I didn't make them.
Here we go.
Did you leave them?
I didn't make them.
I'm sorry. Oh, Jenny make these?
Thank you.
I think the mayor's office makes them,
Well, thank you.
Yep.
maybe. I don't know.
We got enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Need a motion to approve the March minutes. Whenever y'all are ready.
Revised copy of the closing changes. April 15th. Hirschman, Ginny.
I'll make a motion to be approved.
Motion's been made by
I'll second it.
Commissioner, and Mr. Tim has seconded it. Joe Mike is the one who made the motion. All in favor of the motion, any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. We're gonna move on to unfinished business. We need to get the closing revisions to legislative committee. A motion has been made, but we needed to vote for it. We didn't, for some reason, we failed to vote to move it on to, I guess we were
So-
rushing.
Okay.
So we gotta slow down a little bit and make sure we don't do that no more.
Is this Russian collusion?
Russian collusion. Yeah, so we have the motion, and who made the motion? Do you remember? You got that, don't you?
Commissioner Morris,
Mhm.
and seconded by Andy.
Yep, that's right. I
No,
can
no,
remember.
that passed. That was voted on. There was just no motion to forward to the legislative committee.
That's what we have to have.
Yeah.
And we have to have motion and to send it to the
Okay.
legislative
I make the
committee.
motion that we send it on to legislative, and that's the closing revisions,
And I'll
so they can
second
look at it.
Tim made the motion and Andy seconded it. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
And if we can get that, we can look at it at our next meeting. on-
Yes,
Yes.
which should, in a week.
Your meeting comes up pretty soon, don't it?
It's that fourth Monday,
Yours is next Monday?
legislative.
I'll
Okay.
send it
Okay.
tomorrow. I'll forward it to you tomorrow.
New business will be the holiday list. Let's go ahead and get that one out of the way. Days off for
Yeah, they're
2000.
just wanting to swap 2 days. The top.
Bless you twice.
The top one is the current holiday list. Of course, the second page is the proposed. On the current, we have Monday, the 23rd off, and we would return on the 26th, the day after Christmas. And we have been asked to have the employees work on Monday, the 23rd, and have them off on the 26th, which is Thursday, the day after Christmas. They would return on Friday, the 27th. So they would work on Monday, the 23rd,
I got
and
that.
they would return on Friday, the 27th.
So it's the same number of days off. We're just
Yeah.
changing the days of the week because of the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they always normally get the day after Christmas off.
Yeah, we didn't have it
Sure.
where they had the day after.
Well, I'll make a
So-
motion, we approve that, as so indicated.
I'll second it.
Joe Mike has made the motion, and we have a second by Tim. Any discussion? I think this is a smart move. I mean, it's a no-brainer,
Yep.
really. That fixes that.
Well, our folks work hard. We give them a break like that. It's good
Well,
for us to do that.
You don't want them to go Christmas and then have to go right
Yeah,
back to work the
work.
next day. That's kind of like doing the same thing New Year's.
Super Bowl.
So do we need to forward this to legislative?
We will have to forward that to legislative body, I believe, for them to approve, and you can send it
Send it
straight
out,
on
yeah.
Yeah. if you
to
can-
the full commission.
So we can get it ready for the commission.
Yes.
And you ought to be able to do that with this and the
Yes,
closing, right?
yes.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion to send it on to the legislative committee? We'll have to, won't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he made the motion to accept it.
To accept it, we have to have a motion though now.
I'll make a motion to send it on.
To
after
send it
we
on,
accept.
okay.
So can we vote together with it?
Can he just add to his
you-
motion?
Yeah,
You want to add that to your motion?
okay. We're
And
good.
you'll
We're
second
good.
that?
Yes.
Ed? Okay.
Can you state the motion, please?
The motion is to approve the revised vacation
Holiday list.
policy or list from changing it from the 23rd to the 24th as the first day off, where they have the day after Christmas on the 26th to the 25th. All the way from the 24th all the way to the 26th. That is the original motion, and there's a motion to approve it, and now there's a motion also to send it on to legislative committee with that motion and built together.
When you get to discussion, I got to.
Well, we're ready for discussion.
Okay. The chairman, which I am right now, shall be an ex officio member of all commission, committees, and subcommittees. In this capacity, he shall offer assistance and advice as needed. I wanted to bring up the, sorry about that. I'll start all over. The chairman, which I sit in the chair seat now, shall be ex officio member of all commission, committees, and subcommittees. In this capacity, he shall offer assistance and advice as needed. I wanted y'all to think about, Tim knows that our rural solid waste employees sometimes have
to work.
conflict because of the days that they're required to work
Correct.
regarding holiday solid waste. You know how it picks up around the holidays.
They're off
so-
on Tuesdays and they're off on Thursdays, is that right? Tuesday?
And
Yeah.
that changes.
And
though.
Wednesday of this year is Christmas.
Yeah,
So that means that they'll have to go in on Thursday,
yeah.
the 26th, so
Yeah.
they'll get paid overtime for that.
I just want to be sure
Yes.
we sometimes have to
Yes.
treat them just a
Dif-
little bit differently.
We have to.
Yes,
So,
because of
I
the,
just want to be sure that was
Yes.
being recognized
Waste
in
issue.
this.
They always work day after
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Got to.
okay.
Okay. Well, we have a motion, discussion's been made. We ready to vote?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the pro tem on the chair and slash the mayor. Basically, it's the same thing. Is that not right? When you say pro tem chair and pro tem mayor, is that the same?
It
I mean, we're
can
talking
be-
about the same person, right?
Actually, once again, I'm fixing to enter into
I'm
this
with you.
as assistance and
Okay.
advice because of the experience that I've just went through on April the 2nd with the passing of our mayor. The terminology for my position right now, according to TCA, is interim mayor. That's the term they use. Some people have used the terminology mayor pro tem, but the TCA terminology is
Acting mayor.
interim mayor until the vacancy is filled, either by the full legislative body or by election. And since the election falls in August, it is the advice of the CTAS rep that interim mayor should just stay to not upset the apple cart. Because it sets off a domino effect if the vacancy is filled by me, not if it was filled by somebody else. But if the vacancy, by some chance, the county legislative body decided to fill it with me, I would immediately have to resign as commissioner. But right now, it is perfectly clear that I'm wearing 3 hats at the moment. And that would be mayor, chairman, and commissioner. And and you guys, I think you guys witnessed that I'm being real careful about being mayor and what I immediately came off capital outlay because I felt like that just would not be appropriate for, which I was chair. And I just didn't think that'd be appropriate for me sitting there with these two ongoing projects. Somebody need to get in there and take over and not be me at that point. So, having said that, I think what happened the other night when Commissioner Hirschman made the motion that this body review the selection process, because it has become apparent to everybody across the state that when you are appointing that chairman pro tem, you by default are electing the next mayor. So I'm gonna throw out some stuff here. I think you need to look at the individual you should probably choose a minimum number of years that they've served on the county legislative body to have full understanding of county government. I think the number of committees in which they have served in and served as chair of should be something to take into consideration. And also, the immediate ability to fill that vacancy, which luckily I have that ability. And also, I feel like you need to change the process that the chair, and the chair now serves consecutive. It's like every time we've elected a chair, they get reelected the very next September. The eligibility of the chairman pro tem should follow suit. I think you should not automatically rule out the individual that sits in chairman pro tem at the end of every year. The term should be able to serve consecutive terms.
Yes.
And that's advice from the Tennessee County Commissioners Association Executive Director. He said that they really should follow each other, the
Yes.
chair and the chairman pro tem. And that's just something that I don't think it's in writing anywhere, but that's just what we've just rotated. We never thought this unspeakable incident could happen, but it has. So that's just throwing out my ideas so y'all can food for thought.
So right now, we have an absence in the pro tem position because you have assumed interim mayor.
Correct,
So we have no one to back you up if something happens to you.
correct.
Okay, so that was something we should have handled in our meeting the other night.
It could have, but I think
Yeah.
I think it was pretty much decided that should not be a knee-jerk. That's one of the knee-jerk things that could mess up future. So it wasn't. I mean, anybody could have, but the motion was made by Commissioner Hirschman to delay it. So
No, he just made the motion to remove it from the agenda so we couldn't discuss it.
So we
That's
could
what he
just,
did.
so we could discuss it in this meeting.
I think he gave the reason to remove
I did.
it. So
Well, we have the guidelines already with Tennessee Code Annotated and with the policy of the CTES you're talking about. We already have these things in place. And even we have, in relation to the election, we have to appoint someone within 120 days unless there's a time of the general election of the county. So you would be naturally, you would serve as mayor until that election, until someone else was elected. And if I understand that right, and you guys can go back and correct me, and I've got it there for you in paper. But at this point, each political party has to caucus and get their representative to run on the election ballot. Anybody independent has to go and get their signatures like someone applying to run. So we've got all those in place already. But you're the mayor until that election. So,
But we need to come up with a policy to do the pro tem. And it used to be a gentleman's agreement that it was swapped from the rural to the city to the other city. And like you said, I don't think anybody ever dreamed that a death would occur. And now it has, and we see that we have a void there because there are ladies and gentlemen on the county commission that if they were mayor pro tem, they couldn't leave their job. There are people on there that could be mayor pro tem that are just first time arounders that haven't been on many committees. So the things that I've thought of is it ought to be a requirement that you've at least served a 4-year term. And you should have been on at least 2 standing committees. That'd be one requirement. The second requirement would be that you would have to be able to leave your job within a 2-week notice. I mean, you can't, I know you would leave and become mayor or set in for mayor as a chair, but you also have to give a 2-week notice to your employer to do it right. You can't just walk out and say, I'm done. So a 2-week notice. And I think that we shouldn't be that person, or that position should be eligible to continue on. If the county commission elects them for the first year and decides to stay with them the second year because they're the most qualified person, that's what we need to do. We need to pull back from the gentleman's agreement that we rotated, because it's going to take a special person to really fill this position. You were fortunate enough that you were able to leave and come in. What if we hadn't had that? We'd been a mess.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 recommendations: that you've at least served 1 term on the county commission, which is 4 years. Been on at least 2 standing committees. You don't have to be a chairman, I don't think. If you've participated in 2 standing committees, you sort of know how it flows. Yes, you might be weak, but a lot of people would help you. The job position, or your job, are you going to be willing to leave your job? And I think that will cull some people. Some will say no. Some will be afraid. And then I think that we also should need to put in there, if the county commission finds somebody who suits that position, such as the chair has, that person can be elected from year to year to year, that we don't rotate. Those are my 3 things.
Was that 3 or 4?
3. Well, the 4-year term and at least 2 standing committees, I think that's going to be pretty fair straight across the board. I think the most important one is, are you going to be able, or are you willing to give up your job just in case?
Are you saying a time limit on the 2 standing committees?
Well,
If
your 4-year term,
you're probably gonna be on
you've
2.
served 1 time as a county commissioner.
No, I'm talking about on the standing committees, because
Well-
even though you served a 4-year term, what if you've only been on the standing committee?
I think
For
that
a
the
year.
way we're doing it right now, everybody's rotating on standing committees, I think. Am I correct? Everybody's on at least 2 standing committees.
Now,
So the way we're
when you-
set up
when you
right now.
say standing committees, in our book on how to run things, it lists 6 of those.
Okay.
Are you talking about those specific 6 committees? That's the Budget Committee, the Legislator and Governance Relation Committee, the Health, Welfare, Recreation Committee, the Capital Outlay Committee, Law Enforcement Committee, and Policies and Procedure Committee.
Okay.
Those are the 6 according to
Those are
our,
the 6 standing committees. Mhm.
those are the standing, if that's what you
And
mean.
I think the 18 of us have rotated through those. Because you've got 9 of you on budget and finance
Budget
already.
finance.
So there's 9 right there, so that's 1. And then the rest of us are spread out.
I've been on 3 of those, chair of 2 of those 3.
But I think people seeing the seriousness of it now and seeing the possibility that it could occur again, I hope and pray that it doesn't. It's going to take somebody who is going to have the willingness to leave their job, and some people are going to say no on that. Some people from retirement, gentlemen or ladies who are retired, they're not going to want to come back in, or maybe they are, I don't know. But I would think that if I was retired, I would not want to come back to a full-time job. County commission is tough when you're working. It is a good thing when you're retired, I guess. I haven't been there yet, but I think that one of the most important things is, though, are you able or willing to leave your job?
Of course, that would be the consideration of the nominee.
Oh, yes, they would have to say yay or nay, and then they could back out. But I think it's going to have to be a requirement, because you can't do 2 jobs. You can't do the mayor's job and do another job.
Not correctly.
No, you just can't. It's impossible. There's too much PR, there's too much being out with the public, too much listening to people, that you're going to have to be completely dedicated to Coffee County. So, and some people make a whole lot more than the mayor does. So,
So what do we do? That's for the pro tem, but what do we do about that person when they step up? How do we fill that position after they have to step up?
That's left up to the county commission, isn't it? Well, it will, you will be, if everything is elected, if, just say this, if Dennis is elected in August, the election is in November for his spot?
No, August.
No. I mean, if he is elected mayor, when was his position be filled? November?
2 more years.
When,
If.
depending on when he resigns,
Okay.
or just if another elected official gets in August, depending on when they resign will be either it'll go to November or it'll be an appointment by the county commission.
Okay.
It just depends on the timing,
Okay.
because you've got a short period between
Yes.
August and November.
Are we under the same stipulations for mayor? We have 120 days to replace that position. And do we have that 120 days the same?
Yes, that's
So
set in TCA, the 120.
September, October. Yeah, you'd
yeah.
make, the November election would be that. So it could be a public election.
So we're talking about if, so Dennis wins in August.
Yes,
So he has to resign from his chairman.
yes,
I mean, as commissioner. Is that right?
Yes.
What we're talking about?
yes.
Correct. And another one has to either be elected.
And it would be
Or we
November,
appoint
within
one.
120 days, the November 4th election would be under 120 days.
If whoever wins the election, if they resign in August, it'll be on the November ballot.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you get into September, that's when it gets really tight.
And I think, just like with Roger, I think the more you give back to the people, and I know everybody does not vote, but when you give it to the people of the district where they can pick and choose their representation, and I didn't have nothing against you all, that kind. I just feel like the people, instead of us picking, it should be the people vote.
People elected him.
And if you live in that district and care enough about it, you will go vote. And and that way you're not picking one. If you put one in, I think people feel like they ought to vote for that one. Or, so.
Sure.
Here, if Mr. Hunt wins, becomes mayor, then he would resign. We would have election in November and his commissioner seat would be
If I
filled.
may speak to that right quickly, I have made it known to the Coffee County's Republican Party that I wish my name to be considered for the August ballot.
Yes.
And of course, this caucus, which I don't think we've ever been through this exact process, to select a name for a general election ballot, but that's the way it's done. TCA knew that this scenario could happen. We've already had our March primary, so they knew there's nobody could qualify and be selected for a general because the primaries done happen. So the rules are in place. We approved the letter of notification from the clerk and our full commission meeting the other night. That's when the 120 days starts, is the date of notification. And we had to accept that notification. But anyway, and we set a precedent by doing that. By having that, we were in full compliance with TCA, and we set the precedent that a letter stating the vacancy from the clerk, and that's exactly what TCA said. It was all, I think it's all done really, really good, and this is the only thing that sort of is so variable that it really needs to be addressed. And I would suggest that you make a motion to that so people can pick it apart or add to it or whatever on the committee.
I will make a motion for Chairman Pro Tem that you have to have served a 4-year term as county commissioner, been on at least 2 standing committees. Second qualification is able to leave their job within a 2-week notice. And I think that we ought to put it in there that we had take out the gentleman's agreement, and this person can, male or female, be reelected or reappointed as chairman pro tem for multiple years.
Okay, well, you got, that's a motion, so I want to say something about here in just a second. Do we have a motion from Tim?
I'll second it for discussion.
We have a second from Andy, and discussion is called. So, I like the motion, but what I'd like to stipulate on that, in there is on the assertion of the of a death
Mm-hmm.
of a seating mayor, or even, you know, what if?
Oh, you want that added to it?
I would like to have
Okay.
that added. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because
Under-
if say this Dennis has a heart attack and he has to get
Yeah.
off, or he's in, we've had that to happen, right,
Mm-hmm.
before, with,
The chairman pro tem just comes in and runs the meeting.
until he
for a
comes
certain
back.
period, yes.
See, I don't have a problem with that,
Okay, I'll
but I
amend
just
it
want
to,
to make, I just want everybody to know that this is in case
yes.
we have a death at the,
Okay.
at the,
But I think we need
Position
to
of the mayor.
prepare for it each time now, but I will change that, Heather, to due to the untimely death of Coffee County's mayor, this criteria
Or vacancy.
or vacancy
Vacancy.
should be in place.
TCA actually says 21 days. If the mayor cannot
Be
be
there.
in this position 21 consecutive days, a replacement goes in right then.
that's fine with me, because that's TCA, I mean, that,
TCA has
they've already
that
dictated
The
that.
stipulation.
mayor, for the
For
mayor's
mayor.
position?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes,
Where does that state that?
and, let's see,
It's under the mayor pro,
Right.
under the vacancy, I can't remember.
We addressed that with Gary Cordell had his heart
Yeah.
issues, and it just almost got to 21 days. He went in, it's not in there, TCA, it's not, those are county procedures.
Yeah.
But if the mayor is incapacitated,
For
Or
21
vacant,
consecutive
whatever.
days.
Temporary vacancy.
Yes, temporary.
it could be temporary. The chairman pro tem serves as mayor until the mayor
Mayor
can
can
come
come
back.
back, just
Right.
like the vice
Yeah.
president and the
Yeah.
president.
Right.
This is one we know
I know
it's
in
more
my-
than temporary.
Yes,
Yeah,
This is, yeah, this
that's
is,
kind of why I wanted to,
yes.
you know, address it around the death
Okay.
of a
Okay.
seating.
but
mayor.
the CLB, the county legislative body, would, within 120 days, appoint the mayor, interim mayor.
Depends on the time.
If you
But-
didn't, if you
but-
didn't have an
But if we appointed
election
somebody,
coming.
but like I say, it was gonna be 300 days before the election.
Oh,
we
yeah,
would
then the
appoint.
county board would.
Then we'd
appoint.
take nominations
Mm-hmm.
and that type of thing, just like.
If,
Yep.
Okay.
if the vacancy had have happened after November, the next general election wouldn't be until August of 2026. That would be when the county legislative body would have stepped in and appointed not an interim mayor.
A mayor.
The
Mayor.
third
Mayor.
mayor.
The mayor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime we establish that, it stays that way till there's another election.
Mhm.
Right, okay.
The only time it doesn't is when you have, we're within that 120
You have that
days,
worded?
where you don't have to appoint.
All right, I'll go back to it. Has to have served a 4-year term, county commission, has to have been on at least 2 standing committees.
Yep.
Able to leave their job within 2 weeks. Can keep that status, that person can be reelected mayor pro tem for multiple years.
Right.
It does not have to rotate. I think we did that as a gentleman's agreement. It's now serious. We found out that it's business. We hadn't been taking care of our business the way we should have. And I don't think anybody ever dreamed that we would ever lose a mayor, but it has happened and we have to be prepared. I mean, this county's growing hand over fist and we need to be ready.
Are
We,
you gonna send this to?
Yeah, we're gonna send it, and I will make that in a motion too, that if this is passed, it is sent to the legislative committee for their Monday night meeting for them to look at and then send on to the full county commission.
that's 21 days, this one.
Okay, this one, okay.
okay, question. We're electing the chairman and pro tem every year now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how is electing a permanent pro tem gonna be different than electing a permanent chairman? Are we gonna just say
It won't be,
they're elected
you
the
still
first year?
elect them. You still elect them. You elect, we have picked the mayor as our chairman every time.
We're still gonna.
Yeah,
pick
you will
the
still
elected
have to,
mayor. Okay.
yeah, is it September? When September comes around, that person still has to go through the election process. So if they've dilly-dallied around and not pleased everybody, then they may get knocked off.
But it is a term.
Yes,
It is a
a
term.
one-year term.
September to September.
1 year term, annual term.
In Tim's motion, he's just doing away with the rotation of the
Yes.
caucuses.
And it used to be, you know, it used to be Rural got it, then Tullahoma got it,
I'm for
Manchester did it.
codifying it.
And
Yeah.
it was a gentleman's agreement and we passed on the baton. And now the baton had to come to work, and we're fortunate enough that we have somebody that was able to leave, because I couldn't have left. I'll just tell you, there's no way I could have walked out. So there are going to be people like me who couldn't do it. There will be people like me in 2 years who don't want to do it because I'm retired. So I don't mean that disrespectful at all to anybody. And I hope that there are young people out there listening to us right now that step up and take our spot. So
Okay.
This discussion is good, because, is why I actually wanted to pull it off the agenda, right there.
yeah.
Well, we had all
Because-
the people in that meeting that could have discussed all this. And we
Yeah,
could have discussed it.
But we have
as a
nothing
full
in
body.
writing, and that's the issue.
Well, but we
Which
could have.
we-
But we
well,
could have.
This is the
Yeah.
pro tem spot.
Okay, the 21 days? Yeah,
No, this one here
Okay.
is putting someone in his spot that
Yes.
is vacated.
yes. But technically, he's not vacated that spot yet.
Okay, we
Until
have a
August, it
motion,
will be
we have a motion, and it has been seconded. And I guess we done with discussion?
Anybody want to add anything to it?
How does it read? How do you understand that?
Can you
We
read
told
that?
it to you.
Can you read it at all?
Well, so Tim, Commissioner Morris made the motion. Got it on 2 pages. That for, Chairman Pro Temp, that the rotation was basically a gentleman's agreement, that requirement should be, 4-year term as a commissioner, a member of 2 standing committees, could leave their job with a 2-week notice willingly.
The mayor of this one.
And that the county commission selects that individual, and they could be elected for multiple years.
Okay, so all we're really doing is removing a gentleman's agreement.
Yes.
Correct.
That's kind of going on there.
And you're adding the requirements, though, that you need to be able to leave your job within a 2-week notice.
Sure.
Because you're leaving, you are taking the mayor's spot. You become the mayor until the next election. And that is going to be very important for our government to continue on. And I very much appreciate Dennis doing that, because our government didn't drop. We mourned, and we're moving. And this county is going to have to stay moving and stay on top of some things. So there's no place for us to stumble. And I have the being able, the 4-year term, at least you have seen the county operate for a 4-year process. Coming in new, it's scary. I couldn't even imagine coming in new and then trying to take over the mayor's shop. But coming in and at least you've experienced 4 years of committees, 4 years of budgets, and that sort of opens your eyes.
That's just
So,
logistically, that's
yes.
good. Yeah. So are we going to include this in the Coffee County Commission procedural rules?
Yes.
In that document?
That's where it needs to go at.
Placed in there?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it needs to go.
And I would like for y'all just to send it on if there's nothing bad. If y'all are happy with it, I think
sure,
it
if
needs
this
to
is what
go
y'all
on.
wanna do,
Yes,
yeah,
I think
we'll-
it needs to go on to the full county
Be on the
commission.
agenda for
Yes,
the
sir.
next.
We need, because it needs to be addressed and be done
Yes.
with. So that way we are not sitting there without a leader of the ship.
Open.
So in the procedural rules, is there a portion that talks about Mayor Pro Tem? Or is that just committees?
I've seen for the chairman, which would be the mayor,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't seen pro tem in here. So.
I think it would
Just
probably have
talks
to be a
about the
new
county
section.
clerk, the sheriff, the county attorney, committee general, in general, standing committees. And I do not see anything here, and I think that's why you said you had a gentleman's agreement. They just,
And it was.
no one anticipated
I mean,
what
he's
we've
been
gone
there
through.
with me.
We are in a new country.
Rule 2, Chairman, the commission shall be called to order by the chairman. In the absence of the chairman pro tempore shall preside. In the absence of the chairman pro tempore, the commission shall be called to order by the county clerk and shall select one of its members to preside. So the chairman
those are
pro
meetings.
tem is in there.
Yeah, those are the meetings.
Correct.
Did you want me to print?
Okay. All right, well,
Okay,
we'll
we
get
got
that
it?
inserted in that procedures.
Okay. We have a motion, it's been seconded, and discussion's been made. You need to call it to question. Want to call a
I'll
question?
call the question.
We can go and vote.
All right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. That's the end of new business. Our next meeting will be on May the 20th at 5 o'clock.
Just letting y'all know,
Sir.
I will not be here for that meeting.
Okay.
In May, okay?
20th, yeah.
Does everybody else see that they can possibly be here? I'm pretty sure I can.
I'll be, unless I'm playing.
All right.
Thank you, Heather, for your hard work keeping
Yes,
up
ma'am.
with us.
I think Heather can get that for us, and, do you wanna email us out a copy of that, so that way we can read it, and if we need to fix anything, we can before, cause you guys have a meeting on Monday, is that correct?
Yeah, if we can get it,
Yeah,
and
I wanna
we'll
make sure-
email it to the members, and we can be looking at it before we come to meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cause your next meeting's on the 22nd, is that correct?
Next
Okay.
Monday, yes.
Yep. All right, so we are ready to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been
Nope,
made
nope.
and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Turn off your microphone.